I just watched some Ukrainian sniper shoot a Russian with a thermal scope. He's yeah. Well, I get it, and on the on normal old people internet, and then but it's got the TikTok logo at the end.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's like fucking thermal reticle on a glowing white guy, and he's kind of shaky, and then poof, and the white guy falls over, and you're like, oh my god, it looks just like a video game. I don't know what I expected. I've shot thermals in real life, but it's still to see a person getting shot at with one on the internet is like a whole different thing. I shot.
Was it like a super long shot?
No, maybe 150 meters at the most. Like you could see the man shape very clearly.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how. Is it hard to spot the sniper? Or can he get one shot off and then just be safe if he doesn't shoot again or just walks down the stairs of the building? Like, I wonder.
I guess it would depend on the situation, right? But if he's got a suppressor, they're not going to be able to tell really where he is at all.
Oh, I forgot about the suppressor. We know how effective suppressors are on the small caliber stuff, right? Like it turns a 22 into like a Walmart BB gun, not even like a pellet. What is the airsoft gun, right? The spring-loaded airsoft gun almost.
Yes.
But when you're shooting whatever this thing is, supersonic, I presume. Wow.
It'll sound like a 22. He's probably shooting something 30 caliber, let's just say for like common sake. But like it sounds like a 22. It's just a pow, and it's also like the directionality is much more difficult to pin down. It makes the sound very muffled, and it's hard to be like, yeah, right there. It's like you're like, I don't know, in that field of distance. And if he only shoots once anyway, like that's at night clearly too.
You can't see shit in this video.
Yeah, just the guy getting popped.
Oh, maybe mine was loaded bad. It just like after the shot, it just kind of like was so fuzzy.
Yeah.
It appears that Ukraine's doing well in the east, which I heard they wouldn't. For people who haven't been following this at all, previously Russia kind of went deep into Ukraine and tried to take over some major cities. Apparently that's really hard to do. Their supply lines were all fouled up. Plus, the Ukraine's had this home court advantage that's particularly useful in like suburban and metropolitan areas, and they just kept freaking bashing tanks and etc. The Russians lost so many. The Ukrainians gained tanks. Like they lost like 54 tanks and gained like 94 from the Russians for a net gain of 40 more tanks than they started the war with. That's outrageous. So Russia changed its strategy, stopped attacking these cities deep into Ukraine, and now they're attacking the east, which is mostly farmland and of course close to Russia. And all the reports I was reading was saying this is a new test. This is rough. They won't be able to just pop up out of their rabbit holes, shoot them, and duck down anymore when the battle takes place in fields. And the Russians won't be stabbing their own gas tanks and abandoning tanks when they're so close to their own supply lines. But it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and it appears that the Ukrainians are still doing well. Yeah. Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, for sure. I saw a video where a drone dropped what looked to me like a goddamn pipe bomb onto a car full of Russians. And it's hard to tell, but I think that motherfucker dropped it through the sunroof. And it exploded. And like the Russian like jumps out of the car. They all die. Long story short. And the drone zooms in on the guy dying in the field, and it's pretty gruesome. But no, everything I've seen is that the Ukrainians have been doing quite well. I've seen they lost some villages today. I saw that. So it's not like they're pushing the Russians off the map or anything. But I also saw those strikes within Russia that seem like they haven't been specifically.
Were there recent new ones? I missed it.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 warehouses that the Russians have been staging out of. One of them was a couple hundred kilometers into Russia, so like 120 miles or whatever that comes to, which is pretty wild. They didn't explain whether these were airstrikes, missile strikes, or sabotage, which is what I would imagine that they were, that some guy went there and like burnt the place down or blew it up or something. They didn't explain that. I hate when they do that, when they're vague.
You know why they sometimes do that, to be vague? They don't give away the tactic, right? So they can use it again next time.
Yeah, and this was also like, I think very recently was the first time that the Ukrainians, when asked about strikes within Russia, have been like, yeah, actions have consequences. And
the Russians, I heard them say that they were going to bomb Kiev. I hope I pronounced it right. If they attack inside Russia's borders. And if I'm Ukraine, I'm not sure how to respond to that. It's like, on one hand, they have long range missiles, I think, that could attack Kiev. So it's not an empty threat. On the other hand, we're at war. You don't get to say no face punches. Like, we're fighting, bitch. Like, you came in my borders. You think I can't go to yours? You think you get to define rules like that?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I can see it's tricky.
Oh, I think they're well within their rights, and it's fun that they're taking the war to the Russians. I hope it continues. That's what I was talking about weeks ago. That I wanted to see like railway crossings and stuff. Like,
I'm not saying
like
they're
that
not
attack.
within their rights. I just wonder. It's a provocation. They're provoking Russia even more by attacking. Is it smart? Is it the right call?
I think there's probably some like old grandma in a burnt out village who's like, it can get worse. It gets worse. Fuck them. Blow their factories up. You know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Russia could nuke their capital.
Well, that wouldn't go well for them.
No. Wouldn't go well for anyone.
I mean, the wind blows fucking east for one thing.
True. That's a good point. But Russia is holding back. So
that's just to say that's like saying Donald Cerrone's holding back because he didn't bring a gun. like as far as the rules of like the conventional warfare, they're not holding back at all. They're executing, torturing civilians. Every woman I see dead in the street has blood coming out of her vagina. Like these guys are fighting a pretty brutal war. They just haven't used nuclear war weapons yet.
Do they have conventional long range missiles too? That they could use?
They can.
They might not be using them because they're so expensive.
Like they've been using them. They've been the cruise missiles that they're shooting all the time, right? Those are the long range, like
Okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and you're right. I actually do remember some hypersonic stuff and whatever that maybe they don't want to use really expensive, really accurate, really high end missiles on fucking. I don't know.
They don't have targets, I think, is the problem. I don't think they have targets for them.
Do you really take out part of an apartment building with that? Like, why?
They use weird weapons too. I saw them shoot some kind of a thing the other day that was had a long rope of explosive behind it. So it's like a 200-meter rope of explosives that just landed. And I thought it was going to land on the ground to like make a big area of effect, but they just shot off like a building with it. I don't know. It's been interesting to watch on the internet. I don't know anything about war, but it seems like the Russians don't either, so it's okay.
It's a proxy war with America, which is tough.
Oh, I love those. We're winning too, like hand over foot. Like,
I wonder if
like just killing it.
During Vietnam, did we also feel like that?
The Russians felt like that because they won the proxy war in Vietnam.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And we felt like that in Afghanistan because we were the ones giving the Afghanis those Stinger missiles that were knocking down those Russian helicopters.
Wow, it really helps to be the proxier.
It's cheaper because a missile costs $100,000 and a tank costs $30 million.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure we can find it. We're America, Kyle. We'll make it more expensive. We'll use $30 million.
The shipping was $12 million to get the $100,000 rocket to Ukraine.
Probably was.
Yeah. It's been
probably true.
I don't know how the whole thing's going to end.